This is the Commodities, Scrap Metal Recycling and Economic Report, September 12, 2023. U.S. weekly raw steel production fell to 1.73 million tons on slowing U.S. manufacturing. The U.S. dollar index. The U.S. dollar versus other global currencies. It rose to 105.7, and note that a stronger U.S. dollar brings lower commodity prices. This was based on good economic services data that was released and on weak Europe and Asia data that brought the U.S. Federal Reserve hinting at higher interest rates. And then Europe and Asia could actually go for lower rates. WTI crude oil price rose to $87.30 a barrel as Saudi Arabia and Russia extended their production cuts. This drove up global oil prices, so the U.S. and OPEC win on the higher prices, but that increases inflation. The U.S. weekly oil rig count was up slightly to 513. Note that U.S. oil companies are not increasing production rapidly. If they do, price comes down and OPEC could then flood the market to lower prices, which would hurt the U.S. oil company profits. U.S. weekly crude oil production was steady at 12.8 million barrels per day. The U.S. remains the #1 global oil producer and consumer. U.S. oil, gasoline, diesel fuel, and natural gas exports remain near a record high. Scrap steel #1 HMS price was steady at $330 a gross ton. September prices are going to be settling in this week. Hot rolled coil steel price fell to $34.58 per hundredweight, which is $692 a ton on continued slow demand. Copper price fell to $3.71 a pound on the strength of the U.S. dollar and on slowing Chinese demand. Aluminum price also fell to 99 cents a pound, which is $21.84 a metric ton, on cuts in Chinese production because of lower demand. China's August trade surplus fell to $68.4 billion, but the first 8 months of the year, it was a record. Exports dropped 8.8% and imports dropped 7.3% over last year. Sadly, the trade surplus with the U.S. widened to $33.1 billion from July's $30.3 billion. U.S. August S&P Composite Total Economy Index fell to 50.2, the lowest in business activity since February. Remember that under 50 means contraction, so 50.2 is near contraction. There was a slight decrease in business as export orders contracted. U.S. July new orders for manufactured goods fell 2.1% from June as transportation equipment drove the decrease. U.S. August Logistics Managers Index, which involves warehousing, transportation, and inventory levels. It increased to 51.2 from a record low in July. Warehousing utilization and transportation grew. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 258 points to 34,577 as the Chinese government banned Apple phones for government workers, while U.S. energy stocks rose on Saudi Arabia and Russian oil production cuts. Gondola trailers by Ben Lee, 48-foot long with 8-foot high walls in stock, all made of hardox. And note that 40-foot to 53-foot long are also available. Just call us for a quote at 734-722-8100. There was a sad and sudden death of Greg Rosen last week, the president of Kimco Steel in Kingston, Ontario. He was a great industry leader and a supporter of the community. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his team. This report is brought to you by Ben Lee Roll-Off Trailers, Gondola Trailers, Luggage Trucks, and roll-off trailer parts. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions, and we hope all have a safe and profitable week.